What's up, party people? This is Neena Perez, and this is Straight Talk, No Sugar Added. And you know that we always find those amazing humans on the planet to bring them on here to grow, challenge, and transform your thinking. I found someone I love. I love her. I love her. I've always loved her. She's been on here before for another podcast that she is a part of. But today we are going to be focusing on her. And her name is Christina Massey, and she is the CEO of Consistent Clarity Coaching. I have been watching all of her content, and she's doing a phenomenal job out here. So she takes immense pride in helping her fellow female entrepreneurs from restless startup to full-blown, over-the-top success stories. That's my girl. I am so happy that you're here, Christina. How are you doing?
Oh my gosh. Thank you so much, Neena. You're so awesome. Can I just tell you, I absolutely love you. Every time I come on, you guys need to know, Neena is like a sister from another mister. It's
Yes.
just when we get on, we chop it up, we're being girlfriends, and we have just this amazing commonality of a little hood and a little good,
Right.
So it's just it
I
works.
love it.
It
I
works.
love it. Yes, it does. It's like my one of my dearest friends. She always says, "Listen to me. I can go ahead and be in the boardroom with the best of them, but I could also be in the hood with you. Okay, let's do it." I'm like, "All right, let's do it." So I love that. I love that. And I agree. I think we are definitely sisters from another mister
Absolutely.
because we have connected from like day one.
Day
And
one.
so
Day
I'm
one.
really stoked that you're here. And so I want you to take my beautiful audience onto a journey of who you are,
Yes.
Christina. So why don't we just start with that little question? Who are you?
Oh, who am I? That's kind of a loaded question. Well, let me
Yeah,
just
it is.
tell you guys. Let me just tell you guys. I am Christina Massey. I'm obviously CEO of Consistent Clarity Coaching, and I will tell you that I have been on a journey for quite some time. And what I mean by that is everybody knows we had a global pandemic, right? And through
Yeah.
that global pandemic, I was with a company. I was with a company for 14 years. And I recognized that in the pandemic, it was really hard to shift.
Mm,
And what I also know is that anytime there's a downward spiral within the economy, within culture, this is the best time to be innovative and creative. And so, I was looking for something, I just didn't know what it was. So then I had a friend, and we met through our mutual business, and we started a podcast, which really kind of started to open the door for me
hmm hmm
of that creative side and being able to step into something new, like
hmm
take chances, live dangerously type thing,
Right.
because I had been put in this box, and it wasn't that anybody put me in the box, it was that I put myself in the
Right.
box.
Right.
You know,
Right.
and when you come to that realization that you put yourself in the box and it's time to step out of it, it's like, whoa, new thought, new idea. What can happen? And then I lost my dad. I lost my dad in
Mm,
November.
mm,
And we've talked about that. He was
yeah.
sick for a while, and I lost him. And at that time, I had really started to transition out of that 14-year business. And I will tell you that it was because of Neena's kind words after our first podcast meeting together. And she said, Christina, why don't you go into coaching? And I thought, no, Neena, I have been doing that for 14 years in a business that I feel like I'm dragging people, and I really just don't want to play that game anymore. Like, I
Right.
don't know. I just don't know. But she planted a seed. And you guys, I think that we all need to hear those still small voices,
hmm
and
hmm
whatever you believe in, source, God, higher power. I believe that those people are put in our path for a reason.
hmm hmm
And I truly believe God put you in my path for a reason. And I'm super grateful, because had you not said that to me, I don't know where I would be. I mean, honestly, I don't know where I would be.
Wow.
And that little tiny bit of hope or encouragement is what I needed when my dad died. And it was like, okay, I need to shift. What do I want to shift into? And I
hmm hmm
recognized coaching was it. I'm going to go into coaching.
Right.
I'm ready for this. And it was just a natural transition. It was
Yeah. Oh,
not
yeah.
a
100%.
surprise. I was really surprised.
I'm not. I mean, like, even when we had that conversation after that podcast, I remember that. I remember just completely seeing it. And we even talked and brainstormed a little
Yes,
bit.
yes,
And you were
yes.
still like, nah, I don't think so. Blah, 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 blah. I'm like, okay, no, you like a natural at this. Like, you're naturally going to be able to do this. And I really believe that. I really do,
Yes, yes.
Christina. And I know you're going to be super successful. I just know it. And the reason I asked you to come back on here is because I want others to actually see that you can go through things and you can go through transition and you can go through challenges and you can still find your why. You can
Yes.
find your what
Yes.
what it is you want to do. And I know that you, as well as I do, deal with women who are really kind of struggling with that. They're not really clear yet, And here's the other thing I want all of you guys to listen, because I know I have a big audience and I have an audience, a lot of coaches listen to my show. We are not in competition. Can I say that again? We are not in competition.
Not at all.
We are here to collaborate. We are here to like work with one another, lift each other up. I will never compete with another woman. She is not my competition. She is my girl. Okay.
Yes.
So
Yes.
for me, I feel like whether you like me or not, to me is irrelevant. I don't care.
Right.
That's why I'm a straight talker. That's just who I am. But I really do honestly believe within my core, Christina, that even though you are serving women and I am serving women, we will find our women. We will find our tribe.
That's
Yeah.
But that's the thing. And I think that we have to recognize that, right?
Yeah.
And so many times we're clouded by our own filter, which gets in the way of our progression in collaborating with other women.
Right.
We get into that scarcity mindset and we don't need to go there. There are so many human beings on this earth
Right.
that need a coach. I'm sorry, even coaches need coaches, right?
I agree.
mean,
100%.
because if you don't have that, who are you bouncing your ideas off of?
That's exactly right.
Who's cheering you on? Because let's just face it. Like, being an entrepreneur, we have to really protect our space.
That's right.
And
Yep.
I really believe that the next coach will understand what I'm going through.
Yes,
And so
I agree.
So I totally agree. I think that there is enough business to go around for everybody. And if we stay in that scarcity mindset, there won't be enough business because you will limit yourself.
You will limit you 100%.
That's right.
And I agree with that. And I agree that every coach needs a coach. And that's why with the program that I'm relaunching a whole big program, right?
Yeah.
Because I have a lot of clients. I've done all my research now. I've done all the work. I know what to do, all that great stuff. And one of the things that I offer is to stay with them for life. I stay with my people for life. They become my friends, because we all need to hold each other's hand. And I want to know that Christina can call me and be like, girl, you know what I'm saying? I had XYZ. Do you got an idea about that? Yes, here it is. Like, I want that though. I want that community, right? And not that I have to sell you anything or you sell me anything, but that we can actually be there to support one another. And that's a beautiful thing. And I wanted you to talk to us about that. Like, what was that feeling, or how was that feeling of transition for you? Were you scared? Were you nervous? Were you like, holy crap? Was your husband looking at you like you was smoking crack or something? Like, what was that whole experience like for you?
Yeah, that's a great question. I want to just touch on one thing that you said though, really quick before we go there. Build a Rolodex. If you're a coach and you're listening to this, build your Rolodex. Again, we're not in competition with each other, but building your Rolodex to know who you can reach out to as far as for your clients, in case you're not the right fit, you need to know who you can put them in front of, period.
I love that. I love that, because you know what, Christina, the truth is that we are supposed to be in this coaching business, and most of us are for the people.
That's right.
Not for the money. The money will come, but for the people, right? So Christina, if I know that I have someone, I'm like, this is not my flow. And I've done this, actually. I have done this, especially if somebody comes to me wanting to do a complete trauma overhaul. I am not a specialist I'm a specialist in being traumatized, right? And I am neuro-linguistic programming. I can do it all, but I don't want to. That's
Yeah.
not where I want to live my space. So
That's right.
I have coaches, like the same thing you just said, that are in my Rolodex that I go, you know what? I got the perfect coach for you.
That's right.
You
That's
know,
right.
and I agree with that's a great one. That's
That's it.
great. Okay.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
So you asked me, how was the transition? I will say this. If you're going from one place to another, there's always going to be transition. You're always going to go through the cycle of grief,
Mm-hmm.
regardless, because
Mm-hmm.
it is a grieving season. So I lamented a lot.
Yeah.
And my husband was so on board when he started to see like that people wanted my services. He was like, you are, like you said, you are a natural. This is
Yeah.
where you need to be. And that other business is not serving our household. And it hasn't been serving our household. And I think that not only does this serve your and fill your joy cup, but it's also something that you're passionate about because
Right.
you can see the need and you can see how you can bring that out of people and it
Mm-hmm.
keeps you excited because
Mm-hmm.
I'm working with people that want to work,
Right.
that have
Right.
a vision for their business, their
Mm-hmm.
lifestyle, whatever you want to call it, but they have a vision.
Mm-hmm.
And the good book says if you don't have a vision, you will perish. I'm, putting that in my little Christina terms, but that is the truth. And so I just, I just lamented. And then once I got over that lamentation portion,
Yeah, because that's real. No, that's real. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
was like, I'm on beast mode. I'm just gonna go
Yeah.
for it. Like
Yeah.
I don't have anything holding me back except me. And I'm just going to go for it. And so I still recognize that there are portions of me, parts of me that say, gosh, I miss that. And so those things that I miss, I've learned how to create. So
Mm.
I miss the cheerleading, the
Yeah.
cheerleading squad that you are a part of. So I created my own cheerleading squad. There are people that
Right.
I reach out to. You are one of those people that I reach out to. If I am needing to bounce ideas off of, like I just figured out what I needed
Good.
within the business so that
Mm-hmm.
way I could thrive and not
Mm-hmm.
stay in the grief.
That's so good because it's also that's also in combination with the fear of it all, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
and the self-doubt and self-sabotage and all of that that comes into play because your brain is naturally wired to protect you,
Exactly.
naturally wired to
Exactly.
protect you. So now you're over here trying to do something completely different, and your brain is like, oh, hell to the no. We got what you doing? Why are you messing up my flow? And the
Yeah.
brain is, I mean, the brain is good like that, right? But there's neurotransmitters that are literally in our body, right? Neural cells in our body that are so accustomed to doing something a certain way. This is why we self-sabotage, because
Yes.
our brain goes into this thing where you're okay, Christina's now going to be a coach and leaving this other thing, and the cells are like, hell no, what's going on up here? And they're all trying to fight you. And what happens is that if you don't start to condition your
Mm-hmm.
neural pathways and your neural cells to change its
That's
pattern,
right.
you will self-sabotage. You're going to go right back to the old business,
That's
and you're going
right.
to be miserable and unhappy, and you're going to be like,
Yeah.
why did I do this?
Well,
Right?
well, here's the key thing. You know what I did? I just shut it down. My husband's like, when you leave somewhere, you just burn it to the ground. I said, sure, sure do. You don't ever want to leave my ass because your shit will be all over the
I
internet.
was just gonna say that. I was like, did he get a
Like,
hit? Did he
like
get a hit?
Angela Bassett and How to Get Her Groove Back. Don't play. Don't
Oh
play. I
my
just
God,
burn
that
it
is
to the ground.
so
And,
funny.
and I burn it to the ground. Let me just preface this because we do have people on here that are probably thinking, oh gosh, I don't ever want to work with her. She's like,
Right?
burn it to the ground. I do it in a very
Oh my
professional
gosh.
way,
Yeah. Yeah.
but it's for me so that I couldn't turn back around
Yeah.
and be like, oh, but one foot in, one foot out. I don't want that because
Right.
if you have one foot in and one foot out, you're never going to be good at either one
Right.
because you're so focused. Now there is a season for
Right.
everybody to have one foot in and one foot out when
Yeah.
they're
Thank you. Yeah. I was
transitioning,
gonna say that.
you
Mm-hmm.
know,
Mm-hmm.
from your the dock to the boat, right? If you're in a 9 to 5 and you're going to entrepreneurship, but there's a plan of action,
Right.
you know, to keep you
Right.
accountable to move into that space completely, and then you burn it down, you know?
Yeah, yeah, I know. I agree with that. And I also want, those of you who are listening, because I know a lot of, like I said, a lot of coaches, consultants, stuff like that. Listen, you also don't need to do what me and Christina do either. Like, you don't have to go into coaching 100% if you don't want to.
Right.
We're just talking about if you are transitioning from your 9 to 5 and wanting to become that entrepreneur, then we're talking about how do we devise a game plan for you to go ahead and do
Sure.
that. But if you are someone who likes to be in both spaces, please do that, because you got to be authentic to who you are. Like, if you are, like, for instance, I do have a very good thriving coaching business, which I am now, like I said, reworking and going to relaunch. I think it's going to explode after that. I'm a little nervous about the onboarding process, because it's a
Yeah,
lot
you're
to
gonna be
take
great.
on. But
We're
I
gonna get
I
you a
gotta I
crew.
gotta
We're gonna get you
yeah,
a crew.
well, yeah, I mean, I have to get a crew. It's just there's no way around that.
You gotta get a
And
crew.
here's the thing. I also love, Christina, being in that leadership role for an organization that I am growing and thriving in,
Mm-hmm.
because the organization that I work for does good in the world. It's a
Mm-hmm.
nonprofit, and
Yeah.
I thrive there. I love it, right? And I
Yeah.
also thrive in my coaching program. So for a long time, Christina, I used to beat myself up like, "Oh no, you got to burn the boats, burn the boats, burn the boats." But I'm like, "But I love this so much,"
Yeah.
And I said to
Yeah.
myself, "What are you doing anyway? Why are you doing that?" Right, Christina? So I
Mm-hmm.
love that, that you said there's also processes, there's also a way to do this, right? As opposed to everybody one size fits all. That doesn't work for everybody. Now, if Christina had to burn it, that she knows herself. And she
Mm-hmm.
said to herself, if I don't, I might go back.
That's right.
So I have to do this for me,
That's right.
right? So I love that. I love that you said that and that you prefaced it that way, so people understand that if they want to work with Christina, it's not because Christina's going to tell you to quit your job. She's not
No,
going to do that. All
absolutely not.
right. Right.
That's
She's
not
just
why.
telling you that there are strategies to do this. There's ways to do this where you are aligned with who you are.
That's right. That's
Right.
right. That's
So
right.
I want to talk to you a little bit about that. I want to talk to you about what is it that you're doing with your clients now? Like,
Yeah.
how what's the process that you are bringing your clients to
Two.
and through?
Well,
Yeah.
through and two. Well, right now we sit down and we do you know a traditional discovery call, but my discovery call is an hour long. You know, it's
Mm,
not this 15 minutes. Let me see if you're the right vibe. It's an hour long because I want to know who you are, and I think that's what's unique about me is that
it is.
I want to understand your problem, your need, your challenge to the best of my ability. Because if I'm not the right fit,
Right.
I want to be able to go through my Rolodex and hand you off to somebody that I know is going to be the right fit for you. And I won't
Right.
know that in 15 minutes. I
Right.
just won't. I mean, I'll get a vibe,
Hmm.
right? Because I mean, we're pretty intuitive,
Yeah.
but
Energy. Yeah. Energy.
right?
Yeah.
I mean, like we get that, but
Right.
there's a lot of people protect their words, their space, and so I mean, for you and I, we have to listen to what
Mm-hmm.
they're not saying,
The what they're
right?
not saying. Yeah.
And so that's where that energy comes in, and we have to break that down. And so
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell you, we go through a process. There's three pillars to my program because I just really feel like this is where people kind of get their knickers in a bunch.
Okay. Yeah.
So performance, just looking at your systems and how
Mm-hmm.
can you automate as much as you can and still expand in growth because
Mm-hmm.
I see a lot of business owners be a one-man show. They don't have automation in place, and there's a time and a place for automation.
Yeah.
But a lot of people just think that it's too much front end work. Yeah, it is, but the long-term effect of
Right.
it is
Right.
so much better. So we look at your performance in automation, in scheduling, in hiring, things of that nature. We also have another pillar, which is business and marketing strategy. And so this is just going and looking at how are you gaining business, and is what you're doing right now working for you? If it's not, let's devise a plan that would probably produce better results for you in a quicker time.
Mm-hmm.
And business strategy, obviously, we just need to know, like, what's the vision that you have? Because you know, Neena, I think you know this, that when you are an entrepreneur and you're creative,
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Are you kidding? Yeah. Yeah.
oh, yes, yes. I was actually just on a phone call with one of my clients before I got on, and she's like, Christina, oh my gosh, like I'm thinking about this, this, and this. I'm like, whoa, girl, one thing at a time, because we can get going and we can get
Yeah.
excited, and that's beautiful, and I
Yeah.
want her to be excited, but I also want her to see, is this a part of the long-term vision?
Right.
And if
Right.
it is, how do we implement it, and at what stage do we implement it? Because I want her to be aware. I don't want
Yeah.
her to need me all the time, you know?
Right.
So I need to give her the skill set to be able to do that, right? I need to
Right.
transfer my skill set. So I've learned to transfer my skill set. And then the last pillar is, on leadership and just really developing strong leaders.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that I'm kind of working on right now, haven't really rolled it out, but just really sales and confidence, because a lot of women don't know how to be confident in what they're selling. And I'm
That's right.
like, you you give me a popsicle, I will sell it.
Right.
Because
Right.
I know the value, and I want to have people's minds be switched. When you sell something, if you feel like that's so harsh, I don't want to sound like a car salesman, then switch it up. You're sharing something that you have with somebody else, and it is going to make a difference in their life. I think
Right.
it's really important, because when you get into the share or serve mindset, it's no longer about selling.
Selling. Right.
It's about how can I move out of that space
Right.
and give you something great. So those
Mm-hmm.
are the three pillars that we have.
No, that's fantastic. And that's really taking a person who is coming in to see you, right? And doesn't have any of those things in place. That's
Right.
really, really important to have. I have very similar style. And I love that because you're going to be able to take your client from that moment of what am I doing? I don't know what I'm doing. And like you said, Christina, most of us, maybe I could just speak for the ones I've spoken to, most women that I've spoken to, you're right. The entrepreneur mind wants to keep creating, and before you know it, you have like all of these branches. So what I do with my clients is I do a mind map with them, and we
Yes.
like spit it out all on a paper, and then
Yes.
they go, "Holy crap!" I'm like, "That's your brain on a computer screen. Like that's your brain." And they're like, "Oh my God." I'm like, "Yeah, but listen, we're going to take this limb of the tree because this is all we're focusing on right now.
Yes.
We are
Yes.
going to get to these things
Oh
as we
my
get
gosh.
to them." Right?
You're
It's a
you're my soul sister right now.
oh,
You're, you're explaining a tree, and I just like literally did this. And I'm like, she gets it. She totally
yeah,
gets it.
yeah, yeah. It's so good, Christine. I think, because of your energy and who you are as a person, I really love you. And I think that anybody who works with you is really just going to fall in love with you because you're the real deal. I mean, you really are. I mean, from the first time we spoke, we automatically became like sisters. It was like kind of crazy,
We did.
and then I realized, like speaking to you right now, this is what we're talking about, Christina, that
Mhm.
there are people out there that jive with you. This
Yes.
doesn't happen with everyone I speak to,
Yeah. Yeah.
but when it does, it does. And I
Mm.
want all of you guys to listen. Like if you are really jiving with what Christina's energy is right now and what she's saying, then you need to reach out and stop playing around. Here's
Yeah.
the thing. Invest in yourself. The one thing that no one can take away from you is what you're learning.
Yep.
Okay, like they could
Yep.
take away your house, they could take your car, they could take all that crap, but not your knowledge. And
Mm.
that's why all these like books that I read on like, millionaire
Yes.
mindsets and all that kind of stuff, they will always be millionaires, even when they're broke,
That's right.
right?
That's
Because their
that's
mind just
absolutely right.
goes, oh, I'm broke. Where's the opportunity? Where's the opportunity? Right?
Well, and that leads me to this, because whether you believe that we're in a recession or we're not, it doesn't matter. We just know that dollar bills are kind of inflated right now. I mean,
A
that's
little
just
bit. Love it.
it's all good. Not to get politically blah 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 on here. Not going to do that. I just want you guys to be aware. If you are an entrepreneur out there and you think you have a great business and you want to start the business, but you think it's the wrong time, I want to tell you it is actually the best time to start a business. Here's why. Because you can lay out the foundation of your business during a slow season, and you can get everything systemized as much as you can and learn how to create smaller ticketed items for this season.
Mm-hmm.
And those will always run on passive income.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And when it blows up, now you have a full-blown business that is operating already, and now there's just more people that are wanting to play.
Right.
So I just think, I mean, I started my other business in a recession in 2008. I started my
Mm-hmm.
other business.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? I earned a car with that company. I earned a leadership position with that company in less than a year. And the reason is because I saw the value of what was going on. It was like
Right.
it was training ground for me.
Right. Right. It
So
is, because
I
now
want
it's
to
you
just
got you here.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
so go out and get it, you guys. Like if you're a solo entrepreneur, multi-entrepreneur, female entrepreneur, I don't care. I just want you to go out and go get it. Like
Right.
don't let people tell you it's a bad time because they're
Mm-hmm.
wrong. Like
They're wrong. Yeah.
really, really wrong.
Because there's never, and this is the thing though, there's never a right time. Like every time that you wake up is the right time.
That's it.
You woke up, oops, right time, because
That's right.
you're behind, woke up. You know what I'm saying? Like seriously, like I try, we all struggle, right? We all struggle.
Absolutely.
I struggle with my mindset sometimes. I'm going through this whole thing, as you guys all know who follow me, with this move that's
Yes.
sudden. And I'm like, what the heck? And I realized though, Christina, that my mind was going to a negative space. I was
Mhm.
constantly like, it's too expensive out here. And da, 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 da. And I'm like, and I just caught myself like a couple of days ago. I'm like, what are you doing? Right.
Yeah.
So you're creating the
Exactly.
lack with what you're thinking. So get off that. You know what I'm saying? Because I
Absolutely.
sometimes I have to coach myself out of some stupidness, you know?
Well, I think that's the benefit of being a coach is that we get
Right.
to coach yourself. We're like, snap out of it.
It's a benefit and not sometimes, because you can't even sit in your crap for too long. And I used to like to do that back in the day, right? Now I can't
Yeah,
even do it.
girl,
That's so
I would
funny.
sit in my crap and watch Trap Queens. I mean,
Yeah. Oh my God, you are so funny. All right. So now you're taking your client, you're bringing them all through this,
yes.
right? Through this whole process, which is amazing. So once you do their call, from their call to the program, is it like, do you have it set up as in a few months, a few weeks, a few, how do you
Yeah.
have your program set up?
Right. So what I do right now is I do a lot of one-on-ones, and the reason is because I really felt like I needed to be in the space
Yeah.
of multiple different kinds of businesses, so I could really see the glaring need of entrepreneurs. And so I have them sign up, and they sign up for a 3-month program, and they get about 7 to 8 sessions with me. We do them every
It's
other
amazing.
week.
Great.
And the reason we do them every other week, even though there's studies out there, I know there's studies out there that say weekly is best, but I really think that for my clients, it has been really beneficial for them to do every other week because
I
of
was
the,
just gonna say that. I
yeah.
think you need to stop reading all the studies.
Oh, yeah.
I do them every week, every other week as well. But I
Mhm.
tell you that it gives my client space.
Space to
It gives
process.
my client space. Yeah. So I agree with what you're doing.
Yeah, because at the end of each coaching session, we do have actionable items. No more than
Right.
5
Right.
typically, because I like the number 3. So it's typically about 3, depending on the person. If they can take
Right.
on more, then we do a couple more. Typically, it's 3, and it gives them the space and it gives them the opportunity to put a timeline to it. Okay,
Yeah.
so when is this going to be done? Like, it's my job to keep you accountable. So when is
Right.
this going to be done? Okay, great. Can you update us in the Facebook group? So they also get the Facebook group as well.
Okay,
It's just a
great.
way to connect with me and say, yep,
Mm-hmm.
I finished action item one. It got done on the day it was supposed to get done, or maybe the day before, whatever, but it's done. So at least I can check in on their progress.
Mm-hmm. Good.
Um, so we have that, and I have started now because, as we were talking about the tree, um,
Mm-hmm.
my clients need a little bit more after they initially coach with me, because now their mind is expanded
Right.
and now their vision of their business has expanded.
Right.
So at that point, we have a conversation to go to a monthly, you know, based on their vision. So
Right.
if their vision has, 4 or 5 branches and we've only touched one branch, I don't want to take them back through the whole program again. I just want to be like, hey,
Continue. Yeah.
yeah, this is an extension of your program, which I kind of vacillated on that idea for a while. And I want to share this with coaches. If you're vacillating on an idea, it's okay to do that. Like,
Yeah.
I think so many times people think, oh, we just come up with this and, we stick to it. No, you just have to really heed to the needs of
Yeah.
your clientele base. And that's what I'm seeing happen. And so I don't know, a year from now, it might change. I might not
Right.
offer that because there might not be a need, but right now there is definitely a need. So,
Right. No, I agree with that. That's great. And I'm glad that you do that too. Like I said, I stick with my clients too. I think all of us need that though, Christina, right? Especially because they've been working with you for so many weeks. Like I have my clients that, send me another contract, please. Send me the next contract. And I'm like, okay, well, let's talk about that because I want to make sure that it's going to be worth it for you. This is what you want to do.
mhm,
Why are we doing another 12 weeks type of thing, right? So now it's like a beautiful thing that you can do to keep on being
right.
with them because they become your friends, and then
Mhm,
then you become their strategist and somebody that they can bounce ideas off of. And a lot of us
absolutely.
sometimes when we're starting, we feel lonely.
Oh,
We don't know who to talk to or what to say or who do we actually reach out to, and
yeah.
it is a very scary place. So I didn't want that for any of my clients. And it sounds
Mhm,
like that's exactly what you didn't want for yours. And
yeah.
that's a great idea. And I love that you said if you are going back and forth, that's okay too.
Yeah.
That's okay.
It,
And you
and
can change it. Like
yeah.
it's like 3 weeks and you're like, I don't like this. You know what I'm saying? Just change it.
Well, and I think for me the reason why I vacillated so much is because I was in a business where I couldn't change it. Like
Right.
if I changed
100%. I
it,
get that.
I could only change it to a certain point, and now I get to change it whenever I want to. I'm not saying
Right.
that I do. I'm just saying, like, there's again, we started this conversation with the only person that's limiting ourselves is ourselves.
That's correct.
And so that's what it's about. Like, if you are the one limiting, then you're the problem. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like,
Right. And that's okay.
that is okay.
You just
So
have to find out that that is you, that is the problem. And you know what? We are as coaches here to actually not show you that you're the problem, but show you how you can resolve the
thank you.
issues that are
Yes.
challenging you in your life. Because you know what? It is us that get in the way of us, right?
Yes.
It's a,
Yes.
a bad mindset that we didn't realize was a bad one. Something that comes in, I call it stinking thinking, right? Something that comes
Mhm.
in and it is really stopping you from developing into the person that you want to become. And so I think that working with Christina is a great idea. Like she says, she offers clarity and foolproof business strategies for you. And so I want to make sure that you guys can reach out to her, that you can work with her. So Christina, I first of all, I'm very proud of you. Very
Oh,
proud. I'm very, very proud of you because
thank you.
I really did see it from the first day. I mean, I saw it so
Mhm.
clearly. It was just like,
It gives
what
me
do, I mean,
goosebumps.
it's clarity coaching. There
Yeah.
you go. I didn't give her the name, but it was that clear to me. And I think that whoever works with you is going to be super blessed.
Mm,
So I want you
mm.
to give us info. Like, how do they contact you?
Yeah.
How do they work with you? All that great stuff, that amazing call that you discovery call that you do with them.
Yeah.
How do you do all that?
Yeah, you can go over to my website at consistentclaritycoaching.com. You can book a call there. I will tell you, I think that we have it set up for a 15-minute, and then we have another one for an hour. And the 15-minute is just like basically getting to know you type thing. But then the hour-long call is something where it's like, hey, I want to dive into the weeds and see if we're the right fit. But just the
Yeah.
initial, just hey, like let's connect. And you can go over there, and then you can find me on Instagram at so it's at one sassy Massey. So Massey is Massey and the number one. So you can find me on Pinterest as well, Clubhouse. I'm in the streets, like
Clubhouse Streets. Clubhouse
Clubhouse.
Streets, everybody. Clubhouse Streets.
I know. Let me preface that.
Clarify, woman,
I know.
clarify.
I know. You're like, who do you have
She's
on?
in the
Like,
streets.
she's in these streets. So,
Oh my God. See,
I
I
like,
told you guys, she's amazing.
listen, I can roll with the best of them.
Oh,
Trust
I love
me.
you. Yeah, you are the best. Christina, honestly, thank you for
Thank
taking the time to be here. I know that we're in two
you.
different time zones. I think it's a little earlier for you than
Yeah,
it is for
it
me.
is. It is. But
Yeah.
it's okay. It's okay.
Yeah, thank you. I know you had a client right before us and you still hopped on anyway, and I
Yeah,
appreciate you. I really, really
absolutely.
do. Thank you.
Absolutely. Love you,
Awesome.
girl. Love your
Love you
show.
too. Thank you. Thank
Thank you.
you. And I love you. And guys, thank you so much for being the amazing audience that you have been. I cannot believe the way my numbers are growing. I am super excited. And I think it's because you guys like straight talkers, right? You guys are straight talkers. So thank you guys for being here and sharing this space with us. I want to make sure that you can contact Christina. So I'm going to link all of her information below because you really need to get in contact with her, especially if there's anything that she said that even piqued your interest a little bit. That could be because she is your coach. All right, guys. So thank you guys so much for being here. As you guys know, like, share, subscribe, because obviously you've been doing it because the numbers are growing. Thank you guys for being here. Love you so much. Until next time.